SQL is the base for RDBMS databases development activities. Here SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So it is common language for database development. Not only SQL Server, you go to any RDBMS database. There we are working with SQL. So this sublanguage, this language, SQL language is from RDBMS. It's not from Microsoft Corporation. Okay. So by using this language, common language, different companies develop their products. Database related products. SQL Server is from Microsoft Corporation. Right. And in the same, you take Oracle. That is from Oracle Corporation. In the same way, we have some other databases in the market. Right. And so now this sublanguage, structured query language, contains different sublanguages. Suppose DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, DRL, data retrieval language, TCL, transaction control language, in the same way we have DCL also. DCL stands for data control language. So DDL commands related to table structure. DDL commands used to work with table structure. For example, creating tables, alter table structure. These are all comes under DML, data manipulation language. So coming to next scenario. DRL part is really important for us because DRL queries part, data retrieval language. Basically, most regular operation on your database is always most regular operation on any database, always any project. So we are going to give much priority to DRL language only. I mean, select statement, queries part ending. So you also better to concentrate on this area. So coming to next step. TCL transaction control language. How to manage transactions in databases? Transactions means what? Transactions means operations. Suppose you're going to perform some operations, suppose data modification. How you are going to handle that situation? So that type of scenarios. Purely comes under transaction control language and commit rollback. How to roll back the operation, how to commit the operation. Even these things also. DCL data control language is related to security pattern. For example, how to create logins, provide permissions, canceling permissions. So these are all purely comes under DCL. Administration task, that is basically. So coming to next step. After completion of the SQL Server installation, database creation will be there. After database creation only, you can create tables and you can store data. Right. So coming to next step. who is going to install SQL Server and who is going to create database? Because this is development training, right? And remember, SQL Server installation and installation part, database creation part, purely related to database administrators. They're going to take care of those things, right? So coming to next step. After completion of the SQL Server installation only, we are going to perform different types of activities. That is clear. So now, when we are going to install SQL Server, when we means not you, not developer, DBA. They're going to provide some name to that installation part. Right. So that name is called as instance name. Right. And so here instance means fresh copy of the SQL Server installation. That is called as instance. Okay. So generally what happens, after completion of the operating system installation only, you are going to install SQL Server. So now, suppose there is some system like this. So before going to install SQL, what happens? Generally, operating system will be installed. Operating system is installed means some name will be there for that operating system. For example, this one. What is this? This is your, generally we call it as this computer name and a host name also. We can also call it as host name. In this computer only, we are going to install, in SQL Server, then we are going to create database. So at the time of SQL Server installation also, we are going to provide some name. Suppose test01. Whatever the name we provide for SQL installation, that name is called as instance name. Right, and instance name. So now if you want to connect to SQL server, you need complete server name. You can see what is our database server name while connecting to environment. This server name comes with your host name / instance name. In this example, what is your host name? Sys1, I mean computer name, / what is our instance name? Customer. So this is our server name. So by using this server name only, you're going to connect to SQL server and you can work with database. Right, and so that is really important for us. Coming to next step, I'll tell you. Coming to next step. Here instances are different types. Named instance and default instance. So default instance means while installing SQL server, you are not going to provide any name. It takes host name. That is default instance. Named instance means you are going to provide name explicitly. That is named instance. For example, see this example. I have given some example here. Right, Andy? Here I have given some example. What type of instance I have given there? Named instance only. Because I provided name explicitly. Please check it there. Right, Andy? So this is really important. Why I'm discussing this point, So how you connected to your server? That point is really important, right? So coming to next scenario. Suppose database creation. After completion of the SQL installation, generally we go for database creation. So when we are going to create new database, what are the files we are going to get there? What type of files we are going to get? 1 second, please. Please wait. So coming to next step, for example, this is our server. In this server, we created some database like this. For this database, we are going to get different types of files. Data file and log file. We also call this log file as the transaction log file. So physical data is going to store in this file. Information level data is going to store in this log file. Right? And coming to next step. What is physical data? What is information data? For example, just assumption only. Assume that there is some database created, after that some table created in the database. Table name is, for example. Now you want to insert data into table. How you are going to do this task? Insert into employee values like this. You're going to write some statement. Then you're going to execute this statement. Then row will be inserted into table. After execution of this insert command, row will be generated. Because to insert row only we are executing this command, right? And row will be generated. Now the row generated by the execution of this insert command, that is physical data, that is going to store in data file. And the statement you executed comes under information. Information means what? Statement you executed. So that row is going to store in data file. The statement you executed is going to store in the log file. In this way, if you want to complete any task in SQL environment, you have to write and execute statements. After execution of these statements, you'll get some physical data. After execution of these statements, I mean, any task, if you want to complete any task in SQL Server, you have to write and execute statements. That's mandatory. After execution of these statements, you'll get physical data. That physical data is always going to store in data file, and the statements you are executing going to store in log file. That is the point. Okay, na? Right? And so that is the scenario. Next, we have some questions here. Difference between Oracle. See, difference between Oracle SQL So coming to next scenario. See, whether you are going for Microsoft SQL or Oracle SQL, whatever it, but same concept will be there. Okay, na? Same concept will be there, but platform is different and little bit syntactical variations there, right? And so that is the only difference. Got my point, right? So any other questions, please?
Hello.
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yes, sir. Just I want to ask one question. Like when we insert the data, how the data will be like recorded in that log file? Means
Data
I
will
mean,
be recorded. Data will not be recorded.
okay.
The insert statement you executed is going to record in log file.
All right. So
Okay.
is there any sequence wise like that? Is there anything is there?
Yeah, sequence will be there. LS and log sequence number will be there.
Okay.
Right. Any questions? Anybody, please? So, I think Srinivas asked me about installation videos, that and all. So please contact the DURGASOFT training team. If you contact DURGASOFT training team, they will give you access to Google Drive. That Google Drive contains complete information regarding
Hello.
database creation, everything. Okay, na?
Yeah. Yeah. Sir,
Right?
and one more thing, sir. Actually, do you have any planning to start SQL Server DBA in the coming days?
No, not at finalized. I don't think so. We are going to start in coming days. It takes time.
Yes, sir.
You want to go for SQL Server DBA?
Yes, sir. Actually, my requirement is that both like SQL Server plus SQL Server DBA.
Are you learning any other courses?
Not now, sir. I'm not learning any other. Just I'm browsing from the YouTube and just learning. So my requirement is to Miss Parallelly, if it is possible, then I can complete within 30 days or 35, 40 days.
Oh, actually, for SQL DB, a developer is not required, Rajesh.
Okay, no, sir. In that current company, that requirement is that I'm giving just like a support. So in that, what they told that you have to be very clear about SQL Server and SQL Server DB. So